afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on the orientation seminar on the utilization of alternative delivery mode, self-learning module of MAPEH, practical research 1 and 2, increased investigation and immersion, arts and design, and health optimizing physical education. Before we formally start our program, let me have first some of the reminders. Number one, this is a webinar, hence your online attendance is a must. Do not forget to sign in our attendance link that will be flashed on your screen. Your attendance is one of the bases for giving the certificate of participation. Number two, this webinar is recorded and will be live streamed to the designated social media accounts. The operator will flash on the screen the social media links. Number three, if you have questions regarding the presentation, key in those questions to the comment section of our live feed on the designated social media. We have assigned a person in charge who will pick your questions and will forward them to the person concerned later. Number four, we will have a breakout session, one for MAPEH, another for CPAR, Arts and Design and Health Optimizing Physical Education, and another for Practical Research 1 and 2, and Inquiries, Investigation, and Immersion after this plenary. Links of the breakout session will be flashed on the screen later. And number five, after this webinar, do not forget to accomplish the evaluation form of which the link will be flashed later. Again, the accomplished evaluation form will serve as another basis for giving the certificate of participation. Thank you so much for your usual cooperation. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rex Lim of Davao City National High School, and I am welcoming you all to our online orientation seminar on the utilization of alternative delivery mode, self-learning module of MAPEH, Practical Research 1 and 2, Increased Investigation and Immersion, Arts and Design, and Health Optimizing Physical Education. In a minute, we'll begin our program. Before that, let me remind you once again of the following points. Number one, this is a webinar, hence your online attendance is a must. Do not forget to sign in our attendance link that will be flashed on your screen. Your attendance is one of the bases for giving the certificate of participation. Number two, this webinar is recorded and will be live streamed to the designated social media accounts. The operator will flash on the screen the social media links. Number three, if you have your questions regarding the presentation, key in those questions to the comment section of our live feed on the designated social media. We have assigned a person in charge who will pick your questions and will forward them to the person concerned later. Number four, we will have a breakout session, one for MAPEH, another for CPAR, Arts and Design, and Health Optimizing Physical Education, and another for Practical Research 1 and 2, and Increased Investigation and Immersion after this plenary. Links of the breakout session will be flashed on the screen later. And number five, after this webinar, do not forget to accomplish the evaluation form of which the link will be flashed later. Again, the accomplished evaluation form will serve as another basis for giving the certificate of participation. Meanwhile, let us pause for a while for the singing of the national anthem. This will be followed by an economical prayer.
Pamay di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Aming ligaya ng pagmay manali, ang mamatay ng
couldn't see the sunshine through the shadows. I could seem to find a soul to care, and in my darkest hour, you touched me with your power, and when I looked, your light was everywhere. The light of a million mornings filled my heart. The sound of a million angels sang my song. The warmth of the love so tender touched my life, and suddenly the light of a million mornings start in me. I never tried to understand the sunrise. I only know it takes away the dark. I can't explain your healing or all the joy I'm feeling. I only know you've come into my heart. The light of a million mornings filled my heart. The sound of a million angels sang my song. The warmth of the love so tender touched my life, and suddenly the light of a million mornings dawn in me. And now that your glory has come shining through, let my light be a candle, Lord, that shines for you. Shines for you. Shines for you. The light of a million mornings fill my heart. The sound of a million angels sang my song. The warmth of the love so tender touched my life, and suddenly, oh, the light of a million mornings, oh, the light of a million mornings has come. The light of
am welcoming everyone to this online orientation seminar on the utilization of alternative delivery mode, self-learning module of MAPEH, Practical Research 1 and 2, Increased Investigation and Immersion, Arts and Design, and Health Optimizing Physical Education. At this juncture, let us all welcome on screen Dr. Elsie Gagabe, Education Program Supervisor, for her presentation on the overview of this online orientation.
Good afternoon. My courtesy and greetings to everyone, most especially to our leader, our school's division superintendent, in the person of Dr. Reynaldo Galiena, who is very supportive in these times and every time that we need to do things in urgent manner, important manner. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues, this is it. Since we started this initiative in preparation for the next school year 2020-2021, we have been conceptualized, we have been trying hard our best to decontextualize even the competencies given the curriculum guide until the MELCs came in. So we need to realize that this is now in the preparation for this health issues challenge in the country. The Department of Education cannot fail to perform the responsibility. That's why we in the division level, school level, will try hard our best on how to make this more effective, the delivery of our curriculum and competencies to our learners. Although it is indeed a challenging to us because we need to rethink our initiatives, we need to innovate. We need to innovate the delivery of the competencies. We need to be more specific in our delivery, especially to the far-flung areas. So we have this, the modules, we coined this before as self-directed learning materials inspired by, of course, our leader. I'd like to mention Dr. Hernano Cernani, on which from the central office has been guiding us, and of course with the support of our SDS. This is it, guys. Finally, we have developed, we have produced, we have decontextualized, we even have encouraged ourselves to move on until fourth quarter. And now, today is our event on which we try to emphasize that this is effective enough, the supplemental materials for our learners, not only in the downtown area, even designing these materials to support the learning modalities and the learning styles of our learners. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate for all the efforts, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, just to make ourselves more available virtually or in print or in audio to reach out to our learners and especially to our co-teachers, on which we will try ourselves to collaborate to make more efforts to effectively and efficiently deliver our self-directed learning materials. Inspiration of this are our learners. I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity that you have offered your sacrifices, to the writers, to the team leaders, to our CID Chief who's been supporting us. Of course, the directions and the guidance of the SDS who randomly checks us if our modules are available for his personal checking and tracking. Our gratefulness to you, sir, for that instant guidance to us. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And this is the time that we need to take off and deliver the competencies inspired by the most essential learning competencies coming from the curriculum guide of the basic education curriculum K-12 program. Good afternoon.
That was once again Dr. Elsie Gagabe, Education Program Supervisor for MAPEH, Practical Research 1 and 2, Increased Investigation and Immersion, arts and design, and health optimizing physical education. That was great. Indeed, we are conducting this online orientation to orchestrate everybody in the implementation and utilization of our self-made modules. This time, let us watch and listen to the message from the Curriculum and Instruction Division Chief of Davao City Division, Dr. Alma Sifra.
My warmest greetings to the Education Program Supervisors of MAPEH, Dr. Elsie E. Gagabe, to the PSDS who are around, to the school heads, and of course to all the participants. Good afternoon, everyone. Let us not permit COVID-19 to exploit our willpower to survive and our determination to carry on education in Davao City. We consider that no disease and no calamity will ever block us from achieving the dreams and aspirations of the Department of Education. Nobody said that it's going to be very easy for all of us. At least we are all united. You are all united then. We are working together because we believe that we should provide every learner the right to education. The desire must be there and must be strong that nothing will be allowed to stand in the way. Do the best that you can, MAPEH teachers, every day to live the life you have imagined. Remember as well to acknowledge yourself and to examine your life often, to make sure that it's one that you really enjoy. Whatever may
Else, up to
come your
what
way,
time?
always believe in
Else, up
yourself
to what
and
time
just
ang
be you.
webinar
We
na
will
to?
not count how much we earn.
Until 4 o'clock lang,
We
sir.
will just perform
Sige,
for
sa
the
end
good.
na lang ko kay
The good
Kuan.
of our
Nana ang
clients,
nine
our
partner at the same time
learners,
napakoy
our
thank you.
peers, our friends, and most
Okay,
of
okay,
all,
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
our family.
Okay ra, sa end,
We will
later
just
part na lang
give
ko.
them the
Pasok
best
lang
of
ko.
Yes, sir.
ourselves,
Sa closing, sir.
no
Okay, sir.
matter how much
Okay, thank
is the
you.
Okay, sir.
compensation.
Okay, sir.
The division office personnel, of course, your MAPEH Education Program Supervisor, Dr. Elsie E. Gagabe, your respective school heads, your PSDS will continue to support you and challenge your belief in yourself. Spread your wings, therefore, MAPEH teachers, and share really your outputs to our learners. Good luck then to all of you, and may God bless us all.
Go. Thank you very much, Dr. Alma Sifra, for that warm message to all of us teachers. The message was a very good reminder to us that despite the hurting challenges that COVID-19 has brought to the education system, we should not forget our mission. We should not forget our mission to carry on one of the thrusts of the Department of Education, that is, education must continue. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Alma Sifra. Our event this afternoon is even more special with the presence of no less than the Supervising Education Program Specialist, Bureau of Learning Delivery, Department of Education Central Office. To give us a message, let us welcome on screen Dr. Hernani Ofreneo Jaime. A thunderous virtual applause, please.
Hello. Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So, good afternoon. Of course, we would like to congratulate the division of Davao City under the leadership of our SDS Reynaldo Gillena, and of course, the chief of the CID division, Dr. Alma Sifra, and of course, congratulations finally to my friend, no, Ma'am Elsie Gagabe, the education program supervisor. Just ko, what can I say, no? So before, kwento lang natin to, mga side talks lang natin siya. Pero ito nga yung complete example ng what you visualize will materialize, 'di ba? Nasa isip lang before pero ngayon nangyayari na. Of course, syempre dapat pasalamatan din natin yung mga nagsuporta sa iyo, yung iyong mga writers, yung iyong mga team leaders. Congratulations sa inyo. Maraming salamat at isa ito sa ini-envision ng Department of Education, no? In fact, naglabas ng memorandum ang ating USEC DADS how we can support the initiative or the efforts of the central office. And we are actually encouraging, asking for the help of all the divisions, regions to provide additional materials that the division can develop. So napaka-importante nyo, no? It will ensure the contextualization and integration of learning content. Siyempre, no, kapag ito ay ginawa sa division, ito ay masasabi nating mas fit, mas sakto sa panlasa ng mga estudyante, mga mag-aaral natin. Okay? So, ipagpatuloy po natin to. Ang division po na, ang Bureau of Learning Delivery ay patuloy na sumasaludo at sumusuporta. So, this is my personal commitment to my friend, Ma'am Elsie. Good job. Maraming salamat at for inviting me dito sa iyong napakalaking event. Muli, mabuhay po ang SDO Davao City. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Once again, Dr. Hernane Ofeneo Jaime, Supervising Education Program Specialist, Bureau of Learning Delivery, Department of Education Central Office. Thank you very much, sir, for such a comforting message to all of us teachers on the utilization of the ADM-SLM. Indeed, this initiative of the division will not be in vain in the light of what the Undersecretary Diosdado M. San Antonio said, that additional learning materials developed by supervisors, specialists, and teachers may be used to support the self-learning modules provided by the central office. Thank you very much for the enlightening message. And now we have come to the point of the breakout session. Operator, can you flash on the screen, please, the links of our breakout session? There you go. All right. For senior high school module writers and participants of Practical Research 1 and 2 and Inquiries, Investigation, and Immersion, we will be using this live broadcast. Just stay, okay? All right. While you key in the links to your browser, let me thank the overall brain and brawn of this event. Let's begin with the technical and logistics committee of CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope. We have for the CPAR Arts, Design and Hope, Mark Rowell Narito, Jefferson Bangot, John Reeve Akyatan, Arlon Vicentino, Alwin Musa, and Paulo Cortez. For MAPEH, we have Silieto May Yara and Leveline Corridor. For Practical Research, thank you very much, Achilles Charles Grandeza and Ronnie Valles. For the Registration, Certificate, and Evaluation Committee for CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope, we have Jafmar Palawan, Ruby Ante, Yvonne Valdez, and Maria Gliceria Valdez. For MAPEH, we also have Arnel Jeff Tulabing. For Practical Research, thank you so much, Blaze May Pardillo and Nancy Bostalenyo. For queries and comment section for CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope, we have Jonaline S. Bacaro and Paulo Cortez. For MAPEH, thank you very much, Patrick and Anthony Mascolino, And for practical research, we have Apple May A. Tanyaga. For the host of CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope, we have Paulo Cortez. For the MAPE, we have Irene Princess Amimita and John Glenn Doromal. For practical research, yours truly. Thank you very much thank you everyone for not just your effort, but your synergy in making this program a realization. We would like also to extend our gratitude to Brian Cancho for spearheading this event under the supervision of Dr. Elsie Gagabi. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, let us have first a 5-minute break to allow some of our participants to navigate and transfer to another link. Bye for now. And now we have come to the point of the breakout session. Operator, can you flash the links on the screen? There you go. For senior high school module writers and participants of Practical Research 1 and 2 and Increased Investigation and Immersion, we will be using this live broadcast. Just stay, okay? All right. While you key in the link to your browser, let me thank the overall brain and brawn of this event. Let's begin with the Technical and Logistics Committee of CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope. We have Mark Roel Narito, Jefferson Bangot, John Riv Akyatan, Arlon Vicentino, Alvin Musa, and Paulo Cortez. For MAPE, we have Silieto May Yara and Leveline Corridor. For practical research, thank you very much, Achilles Charles Gandeza and Ronnie Valles. For the Registration, Certificate, and Evaluation Committee of CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope, we have Jafmar Palawan, Roby Ante, Yvonne Valdez, and Maria Gliceria Valdez. For MAPE, we have Arnel Jeff Tulabing, and for practical research, Blaze May Perdillo and Nancy Bostaleño. For Queries and Comments Committee for CIPAR, Arts and Design and Hope, we have Jonaline Bacaro. For MAPE, we have Patrick Anthony Masculino. For Practical Research, we have Apple May Chaniega. For the host of CPAR, Arts and Design and Hope, we have Paulo Cortez. For MAPE, we also have Irene Princess Amimita and John Glenn Jerumal. For practical research, yours truly. Thank you very much for not just your effort, but your synergy in making this program a realization. We would like also to extend our gratitude to Brian Cancho for spearheading this event under the supervision of Dr. Elsie Gagabi. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, let us have a 5-minute break first to allow some of our participants to navigate and transfer to another link. Bye for now. Yes, sir, Brian.
Uy, guys, Sister Nani, mga yung daw siya ang videoan. Kaya pwede. Mag-hanging out, Sister Nani.
transition kahit wala si SDS. Able ka ayo na kuan. Smooth ang
Balik na ko sa
transition.
SDS. Wala na ko pabiyay kay Arnel.
Oo. Ang transition doki ba? Ang flow. Wali.
Sa Bray?
Guys, live mo guys. Live mo sa YouTube ang iyong tingog.
May magtatanong lang, Sir Nani, saan niyo gusto pumasok mo? Research, MAPEH, o CPAR?
Hope na lang, hope.
Exit na tayo dito. Okay. See you guys in our respective breakout sessions. See you later. Thank you. Sir Nani, I will be sending to you the link. Okay? For the hope. Dito. Thank you po. Breakout session.
Kasi mabiling dali ang mga. May mabiling dali ang. Para Shanti, ko na ako, i-transfer na ako.
Research daw, sir.
Research. Kaya para ang pag-host ba, i-transfer na lang ako. Naman ba?
Ang same ka sa research for Google Meet tayo sa research.
Hawa ta dili
dili-
sa Ron.
Dili na mo
Yes,
kami sa
ma'am.
research.
Ingon ni Ace, magpabilin daw.
My due respect to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Rinaldo M. Gilena, CESO 5, school's division official, CID Chief, Dr. Alma Sefra, our very active and dynamic EPS for MAPE and research, Dr. LC Igagabe, my fellow leaders and writers, my fellow teachers in practical research, a warmest afternoon to each and everyone. This afternoon, I am tasked to discuss to you a walkthrough on the most essential learning competency for practical research 1 and 2, qualitative for practical research 1, and quantitative for practical research 2. This is your PR team leader, Ronnie M. Valles. So currently, we are experiencing the horror brought by this COVID-19 pandemic in almost all our day-to-day activity or lives, may in the aspect of social, economical, political, and cultural, including the impact where we are forced to face this new and challenging normal to our educational system. So because of this, our DepEd officials are doing their best and ensuring that education must continue by providing responsive teaching learning environment to our learners and the priority essential skills during this crisis will be developed by the aid of the most essential learning competencies that will guide us teachers. Did you know that, fellow teachers, did you know that the milks was not only produced to this pandemic, but however, this is in response and the actual result of the curriculum review that our DepEd Secretary has directed 2 years ago. So specifically to the findings of overlapping and congested curriculum. So for a learning competency to be considered as most essential, it must have the following characteristics. So first, it is aligned with the national standards of frameworks, such as, for example, it must be holistic Filipino learners with 21st century skills. And second of the characteristics, they connect the content to higher concepts across content areas. Third, they are applicable to real life situations. And the MELC also, they are important for students to acquire even if the students drops out from the school. And they cannot be expected to be ordinarily learned by students if not taught in the school. So this is now the process being undertaken. So looking on the process, so the K to 12 curriculum guide on the list of learning competency in all basic education curriculum and reviewed as to the essential learning and then set of criteria to be considered as the most essential learning competencies. So this is also the part of the process was deciding whether a learning competency first, if the learning competency should be retained. So it should be retained if it satisfies the endurance criterion, which greatly contributes to lifelong learning and is a prerequisite skill to the next grade level. The learning competency also should be merged or clustered if they have the same objective of learning intentions, thus can be combined into one comprehensive learning competency. The learning competency also should be dropped if they are too specific and the articulation is similar to that of the learning objective. The competency also should be dropped if it is deemed appropriate to be introduced in the earlier quarter or grade level, or this competency is moved to a later quarter or grade level, or this competency is reoccurring, or this competency is subsumed in another learning competency. Also, the learning competency should be replaced to be more concise. So later apart, meron tayong mga competency within practical research na belong. Merong mga competency ng learning sa ating practical research that were merged and clustered. Meron ding dropped, meron ding ni-replaced. So take a look on the practical research. So this is now our area of concern. So we have 3 areas under practical research and also 3 I's. So under the curriculum guide for PR2, the quantitative research, we have 36 learning competencies. But in the MELCs, it was down into 25. So we have the percentage reduction of 30.6. While in PR1, the qualitative part, we have in the CJ is 34, but in the MELCs, it retains to 30. This is 11.7% reduction. While 3 I's, we all know that in 3 I's, there is no available MELCs for 3 I's. So what we did, we retained the 15 competencies. So a total of 85 competencies for practical research and 3 I's, and a total of 70 for MELCs. This is 17.6 percentage of reduction. So looking in the summary, this is the graphical presentation for practical research, the curriculum guide versus the milk. So we have seen there the bar graph for quantitative and for qualitative and for 3 eyes. So we directly observe there, easily understandable na meron talaga siyang deduction or reduction coming from the CG to the MALC. So this is now the particular learning competency that we are about to compare. So the CG and the milk. For the area or the content for nature and inquiry and research, we have there the same for the CG and the milk. So whenever a certain competency be retained, because this is under the characteristic that should be endured from our students. So first, in the CJ, it retains to the MLC until to the fourth competency for nature of inquiry and research. Let's take a look for this. So the same for the content of qualitative research and its importance in daily life. So the CJ retains to the milks, including the content for identifying the inquiry and stating the problem. So wala pong tinanggal, ni-replaced, or wala pong naging clustered, or there will be no clustering in this particular content. For practical research 1 and for the content learning from others and reviewing the literature, still the same from CG to milk, wala pong pinagkaiba. So in short, it was retained since it follows the requirement that it should be can be used for our student into a lifelong learning. For practical research 1, for the content understanding data and ways to systematically collect data, so you can observe there one of the competency in the CG was not retained in the MALC. It neither also replaced or clustered. So the fifth competencies under understanding data and ways to systematically collect data, which is utilizes materials and techniques to produce creative work, was removed or was dropped by the MALC. This is also can be observed for the content reporting and sharing the findings. So makikita natin dito na under reporting and sharing of the findings for number 4, 5, and 6 competency were dropped into the milk. So specifically, the components or the contents presents a written research report, finalizes and present best design, writes short description and present best design. So tinanggal na ito sa MELC. Let's proceed for practical research 2. So in practical research 2, you can observe there under the content identifying the inquiry and stating the problem. So meron tayo doon sa number 6 of this content, sites, benefits, and beneficiaries of study were dropped. So hindi na siya kiniri over for the MELC. Another also, content under learning from others and reviewing the literature. So meron tayo doon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the learning competency were dropped. And among the 9 learning competency, it was only 6, 7, 8, and 9 were carried over to the MALC. And this is the justification for dropping or clustering, because I do believe the review committee based their idea that it should be dropped. The competency should be dropped if it is deemed appropriate to be introduced in the earlier quarter or grade level or move to a later quarter or grade level. We all know that this uh, aspect or this learning competency were already tackled in the qualitative part in the grade 11 year of our students or grade 11 grade level. So another one for practical research too, under the content of understanding data and ways to systematically collect data. So number 8, which the learning competency is implements design principles to produce creative artwork. So this was also dropped for the reason it was already tackled in grade 11 under PR1 qualitative design or research. Another one for practical research too, under the content reporting and sharing findings. So number 3, 4, 5, and 6 were dropped, considering also that these topics, this learning competency, were already discussed in the qualitative part, which is in grade 11. So the review committee, in this case, assumes that this learning competency will already discussed in the previous grade level. For inquiries, investigation, and immersion, so wala po tayong milks for these 3 I's. So the 3 I's composes of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 learning area. So these 3 I's is the actual application of the learning, the knowledge being learned by our students in PR1 and PR2. So this is the time that they will able to apply to practically actualize the learning that they have learned in the quarter PR1 and PR2. So this is the time they will choose whether they will go into qualitative research or in the quantitative research. So they have these choices or freedom to choose, because in our module, we already instructed our student that if they are inclined to qualitative research, so they will just answer the template or the questions or the activity provided for this approach. And if they are for quantitative research or qualitative research, they will also answer the required template for the chosen approach. So this is the points to remember, that MELC is not a departure from K to 12 curriculum. So the standards, the content, and the performance standard are retained. It focuses also on the attainment of the 21st century skills. So this is the 21st century skills that we're able to develop among our students. We will able to develop their critical thinking skills. We also develop their communication skills, collaboration skills, and creativity. So the codes and tag materials are retained for merged and retained competency. And lastly, all learning areas will still be taught. So wala talagang pinagbago or totally ang ginawa lang based on their process. There are being learning competency that were retained. There were also learning competency that were being clustered. There were also learning competency that were dropped if it is already discussed in the previous grade level. And there are also learning competency that were being replaced. So this is my before I will end my discussion, let me share to you the words coming from Mahatma Gandhi. According to him, that strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. I hope that these words of Mahatma Gandhi will inspire us to this vocation of being a teacher, especially in this era where it seems to be hopeless. But because of our indomitable, meaning our strong spirit, we may able to infect our students with the courage that we have, the love of knowledge and wisdom, and to continue dreaming high in all to attain all their aspirations in life. Let me also convey my gratitude and thanks to all teachers who together with us accepted this challenge, the challenge of making the module for the practical research and three eyes. That despite of this crisis, the spirit of camaraderie para sa kabataan is very much alive. So with that, I am saying my thanks and for bearing with me and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
That was great. Thank you very much, Ronnie, for the comprehensive, clear, and understandable presentation. It is indeed noticeable that there is a dramatic markdown of the competencies from the original curriculum guide to the most essential learning competencies. This is to decongest the curriculum and to allow more time for the most essential learning competencies for practice and mastery. I believe everybody knows that. And so let us proceed to the demonstration of how these ADM SLMs be used according to the allotted time frame of the most essential learning competencies in a quarter. Let us welcome on screen Sherwin Fortugaliza, Master Teacher 1, Davao City National High School. A virtual applause, please.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our orientation seminar in the utilization of alternative delivery mode self-learning modules for practical research 2. This time, we are going to take a look on how we can maximize the allotted days for us to fully administer our prepared modules. The next succeeding slides will highlight the specific competency and the time allotment expected from our students to fully accomplish all the tasks embedded in our prepared learning materials. For the information of everyone, the time allotment is protracted based on the severity of each specific competency. Here are the competencies of Practical Research 2, Quantitative Research, first quarter. Describes the characteristics of quantitative research. Time allotment is 1 hour. Describes the strengths and weaknesses of quantitative research. That's another 1 hour. Describes the kinds of quantitative research, 2 hours. And in illustrating the importance of quantitative research across fields, that's another 1 hour. In differentiating the kinds of variables and their uses, designing a research useful in daily life, and in describing research background, each competency has 2 hours time allotment. In stating the research question, presenting written statement of the problem, indicating the scope and delimitation of the study, and in illustrating and explaining conceptual framework, each competency has a time allotment of 1 hour. In defining the terms used in the study, listing research hypotheses, and presenting written review of related literature, these competencies cover a total of 5 hours. Technically, there are 13 most essential learning competencies for practical research 2 first quarter that will be covered for straight 7 weeks. But if we based on our projected time allotment, all those competencies will cover a total of 20 hours. The students are expected to answer all the modules from October 5, 2020 to October 30, 2020. However, we may also offer an adjusted time frame for our students to accomplish all the tasks embedded in our learning materials. For the information of everyone, there are several factors that we can consider in framing our time duration for our students to accomplish all our learning modules. The school and the teacher has a full freedom on how they can reconfigure the time allotment projected in the previous slides. Practical Research 2, second quarter. In choosing an appropriate quantitative research design and in describing sampling procedure and sample, each competency has 1 hour time allotment. In constructing an instrument and establishing its validity and reliability, there will be 5 hour time allotment. And in planning data collection procedure, there will be 1 hour time allotment. In planning data analysis using statistics and hypothesis testing, and in presenting a written research methodology, each competency will cover 1 hour time allotment. In collecting data using appropriate research instruments, the students will be given 5 hour time allotment. In presenting and interpreting data in tabular or graphical forms, the students will be given 1 hour. In using statistical techniques to analyze data, study of differences and relationships limited for bivariate analysis, the students will be given 5 hours. In drawing conclusions and formulating recommendations, each competency has 1 hour time allotment. There are 11 most essential learning competencies for Practical Research 2 second quarter. These will be covered for straight 9 weeks. However, when we based on our projected time allotment in the previous slides, all those competencies will cover a total of 23 hours. The students are expected to answer the module from November 23, 2020 to January 29, 2021. Again, the teachers and the school have the full freedom on how they can reconfigure the projected time allotment based on the identified learning competency, considering other significant factors that will definitely influence students' learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sherwin. It was such an insightful talk of you. I am reminded of the real concept of modular learning, which it has nothing to do with the learning modalities. Instead, it has something to do with the learning preparation. Most of us readily associate modular learning to distance or remote learning. This is wrong. Modular learning is the process of chunking learning activities in such a way that these can be delivered and performed by the students independently. Thus, the very important concept of time and budget lesson requirement. Therefore, modules can be printed or digitized. At this juncture, let us welcome on screen Achilles Charles Grandeza, Teacher 2 of Crossing Bayabas National High School, for the presentation of the anatomy of the ADM-SLM. He will be defining each part of the ADM-SLM and how the development of the content followed the localized process of module development. Achilles, you're now on screen.
Good day. Today I will be explaining to you the parts of the module that we have. So, to start off, as you can see here, this is the title page. You can see the module title and of course an image that best represents the topic of the module. And then after that, you can see right here, it is the copyright page. So inside the copyright page, we actually have the module writer, the evaluators, and as well as the illustrators. And next to that is this one, the information about this ADM learners material. We can see the content standards, the performance standards, and as well as the learning competencies involved there, and then the specific topic that the module will be discussing. In this part, you can see there that there is a title to the learner. This part here serves as a motivation to all the learners that are going to read the module. And next, you can see here, this is Let's Learn This. So as you can see there are bulleted or numbered objectives. So this part here explains the objectives of the module. And right after that is this part, which is the introduction. So this is just about 2 pages or 2 paragraphs of introduction. So not to bore the student. And then right after that, we can see here is that this is just a motivation activity. So you can do crosswords, you can do scrambled words. So most of the modules there are designed to be fun at the beginning and of course also at the end. And then we have the next part, which is the analysis. So this part here is something that would let the student analyze the first activity that they had, which is the motivation. And this will be serving as a springboard to your lesson. This part of the module is also what we do normally in classes when we try to get the interest of the students. So after the motivation part and the analysis part, we have the lesson proper. So the lesson proper need not be long. Okay, so this module has been designed for students that are challenged in reading. So this is a friendly module. So it's like our approach in the classroom wherein we need to be friendly as well. So after the lesson proper, we also have the Let's Do This. So we can see here, this is the Let's Do This. So this is an activity that would enable the student to practice what he or she has learned. It's the same in the classroom again, where we need to provide an avenue for the student to practice what he or she has learned or what you have told them during the lesson proper. And then right after the lesson proper and as well as the practice part, we have to recap. Okay, so as you can see here, this part says, let's remember this. This is the part of our class wherein we say this is the recap or the review. We usually ask the student what is the objective number 1, what is the objective number 2. So as you can see here, this is just an answer to the objectives that we have set during the start of the module. And then right after the recap or the review, we have this part, which is the let's test ourselves. So in classes, we have this as our evaluation. This will check if the student has attained the competency that we are trying to teach them. And then of course, this module will not be complete without the answer key. So this will not be any more hard for the teachers who are going to teach this subject. And then once the module comes back, we already have the answer key or suggested answers. And if not, we also have the rubrics there so that it would not be hard for you anymore to score the works of the students. And then the last part is our references. So this is for the parts of the module and how you can use this during this pandemic or even once we approach to our hopeful normal soon. So as you can see, the module is very easy to follow, not just for the students, but as well as the teachers. This module has been designed to have contextualized content so that it's easier for the student to relate to the topics that are inside the module. So with this, I hope that you're going to use our module as effective as you can, and hopefully it will help the teachers, the students, and as well as the parents. So thank you and keep safe.
Thank you very much, Achilles. That was very informative. Indeed, contextualization allows flexibility of the learning content to make the competencies relevant, meaningful, and useful to all learners as stipulated in the DepEd Memorandum DMCI 2020-00162 issued by the Undersecretary Diosdado San Antonio. We are on the right track in the content specifically, or at least this time, let us all witness a teaching demonstration of the actual use of the localized ADM-SLM using a particular modality by no less than Genevieve Gonzalo, Teacher 2 from Optasiano Hilay National High School. Genevieve, you may now start.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jen Gonzalo from Optasiano Hilay National High School. And this afternoon, I am going to present Module 4 of Practical Research 1. Allow me to share to you my screen. Okay, as you can see, we have here the title page, Practical Research 1, Module 4 for Grade 11. The title of this module is Qualitative Research versus Quantitative Research. Okay, let's go to the second page. You can see here the copyright page and the writer and the evaluators, of course, supervised by the Education Program Specialist for Research, Dr. Elsie E. Gagabe. Now let's proceed to the third page. This is the information about the ADM learner material. You have there the content standards, performance standards, and the learning competency. The focus of this module is to differentiate quantitative from qualitative research. The main content or topic are the characteristics of qualitative and quantitative research. Let's continue to the next page. Okay, to the learner. Kumusta na? You have completed the previous modules. Surely, you now have an idea of what is research and its importance. Congratulations! Let's keep going and continue learning more about research. In this module, we will be differentiating qualitative and quantitative researches. This means that we have to first describe and understand characteristics of both. Are you ready? Let's learn this. To start your learning, we have to set our targets. The objective of this module is for you to differentiate qualitative from quantitative research. Specifically, this seeks to achieve the following. 1. Let's describe the characteristics of qualitative research. 2. Describe the characteristics of quantitative research. And 3. Differentiate qualitative research from quantitative studies. Let's continue. The introduction. An adage goes, the quality of friends you have matter more than the quantity. This means that having great kinds of friends, those that you can rely on, is more important than having numerous friends whom you cannot trust. Don't you agree? In practical research, the terms quality and quantity are also significant. In the previous modules, you have learned that research is systematic. Therefore, it follows approaches that guides the researcher on the methods and procedure that he or she needs to do. In the works of Creswell 2014, there are two main types of research according to the approaches, which are qualitative and quantitative. The word qualitative comes from the word quality, which is often associated with the terms attributes, characteristics, and descriptions. quality is determined by answering the question, what kind? Meanwhile, quantitative comes from the word quantity, which is linked to the words amount, numbers, and statistics. Quantity usually answers the questions how much or how many. Understanding the types of research will guide you to the approaches and procedures you need to do in your research. This module will help you learn more about it. So are you ready? An activity awaits on the next page. Let's try this. Identification. Here is a picture of the merienda food cart of Mang Dani. Every day you would see him outside your school and some questions suddenly came into your head. Instruction. Read the questions below and determine whether the possible answers are words or numbers. Again, read the questions below and determine whether the possible answers are words or numbers. On the space provided, write W for words and N for numbers. Let's check the items. Okay, here you can see two columns. First column would be the answer and the second part would be the questions. Let's go over each item. Why do students flock Mang Dani's cart every afternoon, although there are still other merienda carts? Again, why do students flock Mang Dani's cart every afternoon, although there are still other merienda carts? Would you answer this question with words or with numbers? Think about it. If your answer is words, then you are correct. Let's continue. What could be the average daily income of street vendors? Number 3. What are the challenges that Mang Dani experienced as a street food vendor? Number 4. How did Filipinos start consuming fried and barbecued isaw? Number 5. How many sticks of isaw and Adidas are sold in a day? And lastly, number 6. How much is the increase in Mang Dani's income if he would have merienda bundles like those in fast food? Let's continue to the next page. Good job on completing the task. How was it? Did you find it easy? Were you able to get a good score? Congratulations! You have already gained an understanding on one defining characteristic between qualitative and quantitative research. However, there are still more characteristics that we need to unravel. Are you ready? Let's continue and read on. You have learned that qualitative research uses words as data. On the other hand, quantitative uses numbers or statistics. Let's analyze and try to answer the questions below and uncover more of the characteristics unique to each. Here are the guide questions. Which items would have numbers as answers? Number 2. Which items would have words as answers? And number 3, what difference did you realize among the answers of the given items? Let's proceed to the next page. Let's study this. From the previous activity, you have learned that the kind of answer or data that you will need to answer. From the previous activity, you have learned that the kind of answer or data that you will need to answer questions will help you identify the kind of research you will be conducting. However, that is just one part of distinguishing between the two. By understanding better the characteristics of each, you will be able to find differentiating much easier. Let's continue reading this. Now we are on our lesson. Characteristics of qualitative and quantitative research. According to Stake in 1995, as cited in Antwen Kasim 2015, there are 3 major differences in qualitative and quantitative research. Number 1, the explanation of the purpose of the inquiry. Number 2, personal and impersonal role of the research. And number 3, the knowledge discovered and constructed. First part is the qualitative research. Qualitative research is a type of educational research wherein a researcher aims to explore and to understand an individual or group ascribed to a social problem in multiple perspectives. It is exploratory and scientific in nature. The research process involves asking broad and general questions and getting a holistic view of the situation. People's experiences and perspectives are taken into account through observation, in-depth interviews, or focus group discussion. The usual data collected are words and pictures, which are formed into themes and narratives. Oftentimes, when little is known about the topic and it needs to be understood better, qualitative research is utilized. This is according to Frankel and Wallen in 2003 as cited in Buonsasico et al. On 2016 and Creswell on 2014. Let's continue. Next part is quantitative research. Quantitative research is an educational research wherein the researcher aims to measure, to test, or to establish relationship. It is a confirmatory scientific in nature, wherein a hypothesis or a scientific guess is tested. The research process involves collection of numerical data from surveys, tests, or experiments about the variables or the research elements. The results are analyzed using statistical techniques. Moreover, the researcher has a very specific inquiry. The research instrument would yield a very specific and objective results. This is again according to Frankel and Wallen 2003, as cited in Buonsasico et al. 2016 and Creswell on 2014. On the next page, you can see here the table that shows a comparison of characteristics between the two. Here you can see the orientation, and then you have here in the second column the qualitative research, and on the third column would be the quantitative research. This table sums up all the things discussed on the paragraphs that we have read earlier. You have read the characteristics of qualitative and quantitative research. You have also understood the aspects that they differ from one another. Do you want to know if you have understood your reading well? Continue to the next page and complete the activity. Good luck! Now we are on Let's Do This. Making a comparison. Instruction. Read the items below and answer the questions that follow. It will guide you to determine the approach to use. Put a check mark on the appropriate boxes. Let's check out item number 1. Why do students flock Mangdani's cart every afternoon, although there are still other merienda food carts? What is the assumption? Is it to explain or to measure? Okay, of course, it is to explain. Now, what type of data would answer the question? Would it be words or numbers? Okay, right. We would need words to answer the question. Okay, therefore, the better approach to use would be qualitative. That is correct. Now let's go to question number 2. What could be the average daily income of street vendors? What is the assumption? To explain or to measure? What type of data would answer the question? Then again, you would determine what approach is better to use. Number 3, what are the challenges that Mangdani experienced as a street food vendor? Now here on the second table, the same format, you would just see different sets of questions. So instead of what is the assumption, you would be asked, the learner would be asked on what is the purpose of the research. Is it to have an in-depth understanding or to have numerical descriptions? Okay, how did Filipinos start consuming fried and barbecued isaw? What is the purpose of the research? Is it to have an in-depth understanding or to have numerical description? Then what type of data would answer the question? What approach is better to use? Qualitative or quantitative? Same with number 5. How much is the increase in Mangdani's income if he would have merienda food bundles like those in fast food? How was the activity? Were you able to use your understanding of the characteristics of the qualitative and quantitative research in giving your answer? I hope you did. If not, you may have to review the notes from Let's Study This. Now, let's remember this. Number 1. Qualitative research is a study that focuses on in-depth description or explanation of problems using words or pictures. Number 2. Quantitative research is a study that aims to describe, find relationship, and or make comparison about problems using numerical data. Number 3. The main differences between the two approaches are number 1, the purpose of the research, and number 2, the type of data it would need. Qualitative research focuses on in-depth description with words and or pictures as data, whereas quantitative focuses on description of relationship and or making comparison with numbers or statistics as data. Now we are on our last part, which is let's test ourselves. Multiple choice. Instruction. Read the questions below and select the best answer. Encircle the letter of your answer. Number 1. If quantitative research would need numbers as data, what would qualitative research need? A. Statistics. B. Words. C. Formula. D. Numbers. Number 2. When processing the collected data, qualitative research utilizes thematic analysis and try to get patterns. What should be done if it's quantitative? A. Find similarities. B. Apply thematic analysis. C. Use statistical tools. Or letter D. Apply A, B, and C. Number 3. When a researcher wants to apply quantitative approaches, he could use questionnaires. Among the choices, which is the most appropriate to use if qualitative is employed? A. Survey. B. Checklist. C. Scales. D. Interview. Let's go to number 4. Which of the statements is true about the research purpose of the two approaches? A. When the purpose is to explain deeply a problem, quantitative approach is best to use. B. When the purpose is to measure changes, qualitative approach is best to use. C. When the purpose is to provide a picture of an unknown, quantitative is best to use. Or letter D. When the purpose is to explore a limited knowledge on a problem, qualitative research is best to use. Let's go to number 5. Which statement explains a difference between qualitative and quantitative research? A. Qualitative research explains cause and effect relationship, while quantitative explains numerical data. B. Quantitative research explains cause and effect relationship, while qualitative explains numerical data. Letter C. Qualitative research explains cause and effect relationship, while quantitative gives subjective explanation. And letter D. Quantitative explains cause and effect relationship, while qualitative gives subjective explanation. Okay, let's go to number 6. What type of research instrument is better to use if the researcher plans to have a qualitative study about commuters' perception on jeepney phase-out? A. Questionnaire because he needs numerical data. B. An observation checklist because he needs many respondents. Letter C. An interview because he needs verbal description of their ideas. Or letter D. A picture because he needs to show the commuter's actions vividly. Number 7. If the researcher wants to narrate the history of an indigenous tribe in Kalinan, what approach should be applied? A. The researcher should have qualitative research to clearly explain or present the experiences of the tribe. B. The researcher should have qualitative research since pictures will best explain history. Letter C. Researchers should have quantitative research to understand the differences about the tribes. Letter D. A researcher should have quantitative research since history is about dates and numbers. Let's have number 8. Which approach should a researcher employ if his or her goal is to explain a relationship between leadership skills and emotional intelligence? A. Quantitative study. Qualitative study is best for the research goal because it aims to explain. B. Qualitative study is best for the research because it is about emotions. C. Quantitative study is best for the research because there are two variables or elements to be discussed. And letter D. Quantitative study is best for the research because the approach of the study is to establish a relationship. Now on to number 9. One researcher decided that he wants to measure the effectiveness of electric signboard for attracting customers in a car wash. What research approach should he utilize? A. He should use qualitative because he needs to interview customers. B. He should use quantitative because he needs to count the numbers of customers. C. He should use qualitative because it is about explanation of the signboard. Letter D. He should use quantitative because it is about the effect of the signboards. Okay, for number 10, our last item. What is the better research approach if you plan to tell a story of a street vendor's life? And why? Your choices would be letter A. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it wants to explain something not common. Letter B. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it needs pictures and words to tell a story. Letter C. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it needs to test the known hypothesis. Or letter D. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it will be able to make a generalization with the results. Okay, on to the next page. Whoa, you have just completed Module 4 of Practical Research 1. That's awesome. I hope you have understood the discussions well and remember the important concepts you have learned about the differences between qualitative and quantitative research. If there are still parts that are confusing, please feel free to communicate with your teacher or parents. They will be glad to help you. Okay, the next part would be the answer key, which I will skip. Here are the references. Buensico, D, B. Dacanay, D and E. Manalo, GA, San Gabriel, and M. 2016 Practical Research 1 Teacher's Guide. And then we have here from the Lexicon Press Incorporated. Then we have Antwe and Kasim on 2015. That's all for my presentation of Module 4 of Practical Research 1. Thank you very much for watching.
Congratulations to you, Genevieve, for such a wonderful and effective teaching demonstration. You have truly shown to us that this module that we have is only a tool for learning, that the technology that we have is just also a tool for learning. Therefore, module and technology alone cannot make any difference to the learning process. There is a dire need to establish a sound pedagogical practice for this module and technology to work for our students. What I mean is there must be an appropriate teaching strategy for an effective delivery of the lesson, plus an appropriate mechanism to foster academic integrity despite the many threats that online learning or remote learning poses to the learning system. Once again, thank you and congratulations, Genevieve Gonzalo. This time, let us welcome here on screen Apple May Taniaga, Teacher 2 of Janiel R. Aguinaldo National High School, for her presentation on the application of the initiated ADM-SLM to the individual learning plan of the teachers. Apple May, you are now on screen.
Good afternoon, teachers. I'm here to present to you the implication of our initiated ADM-SLM to the ILP, or the Individual Learning Plan of the Teachers. I am Ms. Apomay Tinega from the R. Aguinaldo National High School. The presentation of this implication has 5 contents. First, the objective of this presentation. Second, the overview of ILP. Third is the legal basis. Fourth is the parts of our ILP. And fifth is the details of the ILP. First, let's talk about the objective. The objective of this presentation is that we should show the relevance of the initiated ADM-SLM to the Individual Learning Plan, or ILP, of the teachers. So we are looking for the relevance. So number 2, the overview. I would like to quote this famous adage from Benjamin Franklin, which states that if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So here, I'll be presenting to you the importance of creating a learning plan. What is a learning plan? A learning plan is a tool that directs the delivery of instruction. This is the main weapon the teachers bring every time he or she delivers his or her lesson. Hence, this is, I must say, is essentially created to set the learning goals in relation to the required standards and competency. The memorandum states, in accordance with the directive of the Office of the President, that no face-to-face classes shall be held until the vaccine for COVID-19 becomes available, the distance learning delivery modalities, or DLDM, shall be implemented this school year 2020-2021. Pending issuance of the DepEd order on the policy guidelines on the implementation of learning delivery modalities for the formal education, the Curriculum and Instruction Strand at the DepEd Central Office provides the following suggested strategies in implementing and managing the DLDM. Further details of this individual learning plan is found in Appendix D. It's entitled Weekly Home Learning Plan and Individual Monitoring Plan. DepEd Order 42 Series of 2016, or the Policy Guidelines on Daily Lesson Preparation for the K-12 Basic Education Program, provides the legal basis of lesson plan preparation for the basic education. It indicates the necessity of lesson planning as a critical part of the teaching and learning process. That's on page 3. Each serves as a guide for instruction and contains details of what a teacher and learners will do in order to meet the required learning competencies. Further, the same order explains how the lesson plan should answer the following questions. First, what should be taught? Second, how should it be taught? And third, how should learning be assessed? Further details of the legal basis is in number 2. Given the new context for learning and the unique procedures in every modality, the weekly home learning plan shall be developed following these procedures. Letter A, refer to the most essential learning competencies, or MELCs, in different subject areas. Letter B, gather the self-learning modules and other learning materials needed for the self-paced learning mode. For instance, distance learning and blended learning modalities. Third, teachers are advised to adopt strategies that respect the unique context and diversity of learners in terms of their readiness, learning interest, and learning profile. Differentiated instruction may be manifested by giving respectful activities, interesting, engaging, challenging, through on-level tasks, above-level tasks, and below-level tasks to various groups of learners. This allows routes of access at varying levels so that every learner is appropriately challenged and comes away with pivotal skills and understanding. And In plotting the learning task, teachers should strike a balance between academic rigor and socio-emotional aspect of learning. Since the completion of learning tasks are done primarily at home, learners should be given the opportunity and flexibility to manage their own learning without sacrificing time-bound attainment of learning competencies. Now let's move on to the parts of our individual learning plan. So, as you can see there, Republika ng Pilipinas, Kagawaran ng Edukasyon, Region 11, Sangay ng Lungsod ng Davao. And with your school, mine is Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School, Lungsod ng Davao, with the logo of Davao City Division and Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. The matrix is entitled Instructional Learning Plan Matrix for Practical Research 2 for school year 2020-2021. So here, accomplished Instructional Learning Plan Matrix for Practical Research 2 for school year 2020-2021. So do not forget the headings, the logo of Davao City Division, and your school on the right side. So you have to include also the teacher's name. For instance, Apple May Tanyega, the grade level 12. Learning area, that's Practical Research 2 for quarter 1. For week number 6 to 7. For instance, module number 10. With the MELC, the learner illustrates and explains conceptual framework for common subject _ research subject for grade 12 for first quarter, week 6 to 7, learning competency number 6. The cognitive process of it is applying, and the sample introductory activity in Let's Try This is identifying the variables. My activity in Let's Do This part is completing conceptual framework. And for my additional learning activity, we have remembering key concepts or generalization part. And for the assessment, the students must illustrate conceptual framework in achieving our learning competency. So if you can see, in ILP, we have for the first 3 columns, we have module number, the MELC, the cognitive process. This can be found in the information about this ADM learners material. We have there the objectives, the content standard, performance standard, and learning competency, including the code. In the introductory part, that's reflected in Let's Try This activity, we have identifying the variables. So in our initiated ADM-SLM, we have identifying variables with the instruction. The students are prompted with 2 items, 2 research questions, wherein they are going to identify the variables in the research questions. In the ILP, the techniques, strategies, or illustrations, which is reflected in Let's Do This, that's completing conceptual framework. So in our ADM, this is how it looks like. Also, the learning activities, further activities. In learning activities column, I have there remembering key concepts, or what I consider as the generalization, wherein the students will remember key concepts. This is also in consonance with the learning objectives that we target to achieve for this lesson. In ILP, there is a column there for assessment task, and in our initiated ADM-SLM, it's found in Let's Test Ourselves. So I have it there, illustrating conceptual framework. Of course, this part should target our learning competency, or should I say, we should go back to our learning competency. We should review our learning competency if by giving this activity, we can target our learning competency. If you can still recall, our learning competency is The learner illustrates and explains conceptual framework. So I have there in my instruction, recall your topic of interest and statement of the problem in the previous modules. Using those pieces of information, illustrate the conceptual framework of your study. It will be rated using the rubric attached. So I asked there the research title, statement of the problem, and another space for the conceptual framework. We can see this is a sort of a continuation from a continuation activity from the previous module, so that they can create somehow their own research work or research study from the title for up until this time, the conceptual framework. Now, if you will review all the parts of our initiated ADM-SLM, we can really say that we have targeted the learning plan matrix. And I must say that this initiated ADM-SLM of Practical Research 2 team is indeed a comprehensible module for the teachers and also for the students. Those are the parts of the ILP vis-a-vis the initiated ADM-SLM. That's all. Thank you very much. And teachers, always remember, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Hence, we should have our learning plan, our individual learning plan with us as we start our lesson. Thank you very much. Once again.
Thank you very much, Apple, for the comprehensive presentation on the implication of the initiated ADM-SLM to the individual learning plan of the teachers. True enough, lesson planning is a crucial part of all learning process, which serves as a guide for instruction and contains details of what a teacher and learners will do in order to meet the required learning competencies. This, once again, echoes the necessity of establishing a sound pedagogy in a now normal learning process. This time, we are going to present to you the module writers of Practical Research 1 and 2 and inquiries, investigation, and immersion subjects by quarter. This is a way of recognizing the efforts of the module writers who shed time, effort, and intellect to put into reality these alternative learning resources. Let us welcome on screen the group leader of Practical Research 2, Quarter 1, Sherwin Fortugaliza, Master Teacher 1, Davao City National High School. Sherwin, take it away.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to our orientation seminar on the utilization of alternative delivery mode self-learning modules. Here are the Practical Research 2 Quarter 1 writers. Tito M. Daray Jr., Teacher 2, Pablo Lorenzo National High School. Module written describes characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses of quantitative research. Sherwin S. Fortugaliza, Master Teacher 1, Davao City National High School. Module written describes the kinds of quantitative research. Michael P. Tumila, Teacher 3, Santa Ana National High School. Module written illustrates the importance of quantitative research across fields. Rex A. Lim, Teacher 3, Davao City National High School. Module written differentiates kinds of variables and their uses. Roji Pearl G. Rufule, Teacher 2, Crossing Bayabas National High School. Module written designs a research useful in daily life. Dinah G. Owani, Master Teacher 1, Davao City National High School. Module written writes a research title. Sherwin S. Fortugaliza, Master Teacher 1, Davao City National High School. Module written describe background of research. Ameline F. Labasano, Master Teacher 2, Kalina National High School. Module written state research questions. Nancy G. Bustalenio, Teacher 3, Los Amigos Elementary School. Module written indicates scope and delimitation of study. Blaise O. Pardillo, Teacher 3, Jose Bastida Elementary School. Module written, present written statement of the problem. Apple May A. Taniega, Teacher 2, Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. Module written, illustrate and explain conceptual framework. Wilson E. Gamau, Principal 1, Zonta Elementary School. Module written, defines terms used in the study. Achilles Charles G. Grandeza, Teacher 3, Crossing Bayabas National High School. Module written, list research hypothesis. Ronnie M. Valles, Teacher 3, Bernardo Carpio National High School. Module written, presents written review of related literature. Rachel U. Ahmad, Teacher 3, Bernardo Carpio National High School. Module written, presents written review of related literature.
Thank you very much and congratulations to module writers under the supervision of Sherwin Fortugaliza. Meanwhile, help me welcome here on screen the group leader of Practical Research 2, Quarter 2, Achilles Charles Grandeza, Teacher 2, Crossing Bayabas National High School. Take it away, Achilles.
I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you the writers for the Practical Research 2, Quarter 2. And if you know some of them, please give them a tap on the back and say, Salamat ma'am, salamat sir. Katrina O. Kizan, Communal National High School, Teacher 1, Modules written, Understanding Data and Ways to Systematically Collect Data. Darwin Z. Pulido, Mintal Comprehensive High School, Master Teacher 1, Sampling Procedure and Sample. Clyde Kenneth Saludar, Bernardo D. Carpio National High School, Teacher 3, Tooling the Tools, Creating Research Instrument. Oswald Zabala, Bernardo D. Carpio National High School, Teacher 3, Establishing Validity and Reliability. Maricel Lucica, Maria Cristina P. Belcar Agricultural High School, Teacher 3, Describing Interventions. Sachi Lois Morimoto, Marahan National High School, Special Science Teacher 1, Data Collection Procedure. Sherwin S. Portugaliza, Davao City National High School Master Teacher 1, Planning Data Analysis and Hypothesis Testing. Aiza Pabia, Jesus Soriano National High School, Teacher 2, Writing Research Methodology. John Ryan Ignacio, Santo Niño National High School, Teacher 2, Data Collection. Ellen Gamayot, Lower Tamugan National High School, Master Teacher 1, presents and interprets data in tabular and graphical forms. Achilles Charles Grandeza, Crossing Bayabas National High School, Teacher 2, Analyzing Bivariate Correlation. Beverly Tabay Hidor, Biao National High School, Master Teacher 2, Making Inference on Two Populations, Test of Difference, Analyzing Difference of Variances. Cherry May S. Dioso, Los Amigos National High School, Drawing Conclusions. Kim Ravida, Tugbok National High School, Special Science Teacher 1, Formulating Recommendations.
Congratulations and thank you, module writers of Practical Research 2, Quarter 2, under the supervision of Achilles Charles Gandeza. At this point, help me welcome on screen Group Leader of Practical Research 1, Quarter 1, Apple May Tanyega, Teacher 2, Janiel R. Aguinaldo National High School. Apple May, you're now on screen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to present to you the passionate and hard-working module writers of Practical Research 1, Quarter 1. Nikki Blanche P. Ibanez, Teacher 2 of Tagapan National High School. Module title, Research Experiences and Knowledge. Judah May B. Aguirre, Teacher 3 of Tagapan National High School. Module title, Importance of Research in Daily Life. Rubilin D. A. Roble, Master Teacher 1 of Bernardo D. Carpio National High School. Module title, Research Characteristics, Processes, and Ethics. Genevieve C. Gonzalo, Teacher 2 of Aptasciano Hilay National High School. Module title, Qualitative Research versus Quantitative Research. Rupert John G. Alicaya, Teacher 1 of Mintal Comprehensive High School. Module title, Examples of Research in Areas of Interest. Annalyn S. Ubiz, Teacher 3 of Baguio National School of Arts and Trades. Module titles, Characteristics of Qualitative Research and Strengths and Weaknesses of Qualitative Research. Dexter A. Puriete, Teacher 2 of Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. Module title, Kinds of Qualitative Research. Joanne Carroro Celedonio, Teacher 2 of Dr. Santiago Dacodao Senior National High School. Module title, The Importance of Qualitative Research Across Fields of Inquiry. John Neil P. Solas, Teacher 2 of Davao City National High School. Module title, Designing a Research Project Related to Daily Life. Genevieve M. Pipito, Master Teacher 2 of Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. Module title, Writing Research Title. Orlando P. Sayman Jr., Teacher 2 of Cabantian National High School. Module title, Justification for Conducting Research. Orlando P. Sayman Jr., Master Teacher 2 of Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. Module title, Formulating Research Questions. Jan Faith E. Casildo, Teacher 1 of Calinian National High School. Module title, Scope and Delimitation. Angeline G. Gabinete, Teacher 1 of Catalunan Grande Elementary School. Module title, Benefits and Beneficiaries of Research. Jadeline E. Eno, Teacher 3 of Calinian National High School. Module title, Statement of the Problem. Karen Ann D. Visaya, Master Teacher 1 of Emilio J. Estepona National High School. Module title, Selecting Relevant Literature. David Jonathan M. Valdez, Special Science Teacher 1 of Emilio J. Estepona National High School. Module title, Citing Your Literature. Odette S. Tambis, Teacher 3 of Santo Niño National High School. Module title, Synthesizing Information. John Ryan V. Ignacio, Teacher 2 of Santo Niño National High School. Module title, Writing Coherent Review of Literature. And Alfel E. Abgia, Teacher 2 of F. Bangoy National High School. Module title, Ethical Standards in Writing Related Literature.
Thank you and congratulations, module writers of Practical Research 1, Quarter 1, under the monitoring of Apple May Tanyega. At this juncture, let me present the module writers under my monitoring for Practical Research 1, Quarter 2. Let me share my screen. I am very proud to present to you the module writers of Practical Research 1, Quarter 2. Thank you and congratulations, Apple May A. Tanyega from Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School, She wrote module number 21 with the learning competency chooses appropriate qualitative research design. Thank you and congratulations to Michael P. Tumilap from Santa Ana National High School with module number 22 and with learning competency describes sampling procedure and sample. We have yours truly from Davao City National High School. I wrote module number 23 with the learning competency plans data collection, data gathering instrument, and analysis procedure. Thank you and congratulations to Joan C. Celedeño from Dr. Santiago Dacodao Senior National High School with the module number 24.1 and with the learning competency collects data through observation. Thank you and congratulations to Robilyn D. A. Roble from Bernardo Di Carpio National High School. She wrote module number 24.2 with the learning competency collects data through interviews. Thank you and congratulations to Julie P. Fanlo from Bernardo Di Carpio National High School with module number 25 and with the learning competency infers and explains patterns and themes from data. Congratulations and thank you, Jessery Fuertes Nakalaban from Panaga National High School. She wrote module number 26 with the learning competency relates the findings with pertinent literature. Thank you and congratulations to Ameline F. Labasano from Kalina National High School. She wrote module number 27 with the learning competency draws conclusions from patterns and themes. Thank you and congratulations as well to Mayflor El Castillo from Kalina National High School with the module number 28 and with the learning competency formulates recommendations based on conclusions. And finally, we have Jan Faith E. Casildo. Thank you very much and congratulations from Kalina National High School. She wrote module number 29 with the learning competency lists references. Once again, thank you very much and congratulations to the module writers for Practical Research 1 Quarter 2. On behalf of Tito Daray, this time Ronnie Valles will present to you the module writers of Inquiries, Investigation, and Immersion. Ronnie, go ahead.
Good afternoon. I am proud to present to you the writers for Inquiries, Investigation, Immersion, or 3Is. Ronnie M. Valles, yours truly, the team leader for Practical Research from Bernardo D. Carpio National High School. Melanie B. Anabeso from Kalinan National High School, Planning for Research Agenda. Dina Chiwani from Davao City National High School, The Research Problem. Glorilyn M. Montejo from Pablo Lorenzo National High School, Presentation of SOP. Jane C. Zalen from Bernardino B. Bosque National High School, Selecting, Citing, and Synthesizing Related Literature. Gretchen P. Sanke from Kalina National High School, Using Sources Based on Ethical Standards. Beverly T. Rigidor from Biao National High School, Presentation of RRL. Orkelesa L. Paramo from Davao City National High School, presents Written Methodology. Mary Jane L. Johnson from F. Bustamante National High School, Data Gathering and Methods of Data Analysis. Eleazar B. Miones from Kalinan National High School, Formulating Logical Conclusions. Wilma A. Lauronal from Kalinan National High School, Making Recommendations. Ameline F. Labasano from Kalinan National High School, Writing a Clear Research Report. Jocelyn L. Noveleso from F. Bustamante National High School, The Research Forum. These are the writers for Inquiries, Investigation, and Immersion. Congratulations.
Wherever you are at this moment, Tito Daray, may God bless you and your family a hundredfold. Thank you and congratulations to all the module writers of inquiries and investigation and immersion. Ronnie, thank you as well for taking the responsibility on Tito's behalf. Let me also take this opportunity to extend my personal congratulations to all the group leaders who walked an extra mile, exerted an extra effort, and made an extra push to put all the plans into reality. Let me also extend my gratitude to all the module writers for the kind understanding of our guidance, even at times we become more difficult, even at times we disagree to agree. Thank you for understanding us. Indeed, it is a humbling experience to work with you all. Finally, let me extend my gratitude, maybe in behalf of all the group leaders and module writers, to Dr. Elsie Gagabe for bringing us all together in this team. We may be coming from different schools, we may be coming from different disciplines and orientations, but we have come this far, compromise our personal idiosyncrasies to put this project in perspective. At the end, we're able to build not just a membership, but a fellowship with these people who eventually become each other's academic and emotional support. With that, we're so much thankful to you, Dr. Elsie Gagabe. God bless your heart, your endeavor, and your advocacy. Before I forgot, in behalf of the group leaders, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Brian Cancho for all the support and guidance from module planning, development, and evaluation. Thank you for introducing to us a fresh perspective on module writing based on the principles of contextualization and localization of learning materials. Thank you very much. Same kind of gratitude goes to Ronnie Valles for the aggressive leadership you exemplify in the monitoring and assessment of the modules. To others who are not mentioned but have contributed much for the realization of our modules, may the Lord God bless your hearts and minds. At this point, I would like to invite and welcome here on screen the group leaders for the open forum. Let us welcome once again on screen Apple May, Sherwin, Achilles, and on behalf of Tito, we have Ronnie. Hello, Apple. Hello, Apple. Hello.
Hello, good
Yes,
afternoon.
Apple. What do we have there in our comment section? We're only given 20 minutes for this segment. Go ahead. Apple, hello.
Hello, it's
Yes, Apple. What do we have there in our comment section?
it seems that
We're only given
our
20 minutes for this
viewers have
segment.
no
Go ahead.
questions, but they have extended their appreciation to the leaders, to the writers, and even to the team as a whole.
Hello, it's yes. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So we have here, allow me to read some appreciation posts or comments from our viewers. Coming from, okay, it's here. Yeah, I saw it here. Kasi marami-rami na din kasi. Sinabi naman dito na, ayun. My congratulations left to the team and to the leaders.
Meron si Ma'am Apple, meron dito kay Sir Kelvin, pang patling raw. Sabi niya, good afternoon, talented teachers.
My congratulations left to the team and to the leaders.
Meron si Ma'am Apple, meron dito kay Sir Kelvin, pang patling raw. Sabi niya, good afternoon, talented teachers.
I-off muna sa mga speakers nyo.
Nakamute ang YouTube ko.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, Sir Ron.
Go, Sir Ron, kung nakita mo, Sir Ron. Ayun,
Your unmute yourself, please, Aaron.
from Ma'am Jocelyn Novelosa, great job leader. So yung mga words of appreciation for the leaders and for coming up with this virtual orientation seminar on the utilization of ADM-SLM of practical research. Indeed, we are happy to hear that the teachers, fellow teachers, even viewers have appreciated our efforts and our service to the Filipino children, our students.
Exactly. We're also very much thankful for now on our live streaming on YouTube. We have 134 live viewers. Thank you so much for watching. I guess these are all teachers from across Davao
Davao
City
City.
Division. Yeah, thank you so much. What else do we have there? Wala na?
They've been asking for the link and now the link is posted. Andiyan na po, naka-flash na po sa screen natin yung attendance link. Just type it po dun sa
Browser
toolbars,
nat
sa browser
exactly sa
natin.
browser natin. Let me just read. We have tinyurl.com/forward ADM capital letters research team. Again, we have tinyurl.com/forward capital letter ADM then research team.
Later
Okay.
on, I think the evaluation link will be posted. The evaluation link for this afternoon session will be posted later.
All right. Since there are no more questions, any final thoughts, Apple?
All I can say is we can do this despite the challenges that we are facing right now. Pinoy tayo, madiskarte tayo, kaya natin to, lalaban tayo with all the encouragement and help from our heads from the Department of Education and from the people of the Philippines. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Apple. How about you, Ronnie? Any final thoughts?
Sir Rex, I would like also to convey my gratitude sa mga teachers for the module riders. Thank you so much for bearing with us because wala nila mabuhat ang atong output. So to Ma'am Elsie also, thank you so much for very active and dynamic EPS. And also to Sir Brian, especially to our SDS, Sir Rinaldo Guiliena, for supporting us from the start until at this time. Thank you so much.
All right. How about you, Charles? Any final thoughts? Any words?
Sir SDS to, papasok sa Sir.
Okay.
Is he andyan na ba siya, Sir Ron? Ayun, accept.
Okay. Meron na?
Okay. While waiting for Sir Arnel, merong question dito from Nika May in Cabo. Good
That's good.
afternoon. Hello po, Ma'am Nika. Good afternoon. There's a question po coming from my former students. I also want to confirm, my oral defense po ba na mangyayari?
So the question is, Ma'am Apple, kung meron bang defense? So at this moment sa ating pandemic time, so wala po tayong oral defense. So ang mangyayari na lang po, yung bata for our module, meron silang sasagutan doon sa template na sa part ng 3 eyes. So we only need the idea ano po ang sa particular. But the point there is at least
Exactly.
ma-acquire ng bata yung most essential learner na kailangan ng ating mga estudyante.
Correct. What else do we have there, Apple? Any
So
additional?
wala na po. I guess we are now excited to hear the message coming from our very own SDS.
Yes, SDS is coming. Sir Ace?
All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, we're very lucky this afternoon that we have with us our ever supportive, dynamic, and cool Schools Division Superintendent to give us his message on the importance of understanding the full utilization of the initiated ADM-SLM. Everyone, a virtual clap please to Dr. Reynaldo Galiana, CESO 5.
Good afternoon,
Sir?
sir.
Yes, sir, go ahead. Where's sir? Correct, basta live show.
Please bear with us kasi live po tayo. So thankful also to Sir Ace for this technical parts of our activity. So
We
while
also have your
waiting for
comments. Okay, from Vuvet. Hello, and the afternoon teachers. Good job and congratulations to the module writers and contributors. Mabuhay po kayo. Well, thank you very much. We also have from Nekame in Cabo. Good afternoon. There's a question po coming from my former students and I also want to confirm tapos na pala to. Okay,
walang mga
ang dami.
questions, sir. Konti lang mga questions coming from our participants.
Most of them nagparamdam lang that they are still watching.
Yeah. And very thankful for us, for
correct,
the
that they bear
teachers.
with us. Good afternoon, everyone watching from Piedad Central Elementary School. Oh, from elementary school.
Because we have also teachers that are writers in the module who are elementary teachers who accepted the challenge for being a module writer.
Correct. Good afternoon watching from Marahan West Elementary School. Saan itong Marahan West Elementary School?
Marahan, Pangkalinan or
Malayo-layo.
We also have Robilyn B. Hello, Ma'am Ruby. Good job and congratulations to the team. From Sasa Elementary School, from Maginette Hinalok.
Yung Marahan sa Marilog pala yun.
From Sasa.
Okay. Go ahead.
Question, sir.
Maybe.
Ano question niyo, sir?
Ano po ang
Sir, is this is
PR1?
here? Is here.
Hello, sir.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Sige, while waiting, we would like to extend our congratulations and gratitude muna sa mga working committees. Kasi ang hirap, you know, especially to Achilles for this practical research. Thank you very much for all your effort and for the sleepless nights. Grabe.
Congrats, Sir
Saon na
Ace.
lang, Jod. Thank you very much, Charles. And also to you, Ronnie. Thank you so much for your understanding and for, you know, pushing us all to finally come up with this event. And to you also, Blaze Pardillo, for the certificate and evaluation committee. Where's Ma'am Nancy now, Blaze?
Nasa school, nag-duty po.
You see, and you are at home?
Opo.
Wala ka nag-duty.
Work from home.
Work from home. Yes, Apple May, thank you very much for your queries and for the in charge of queries and comments.
Yeah, I guess this time Sir SDS is all ready to deliver his message. I guess we will now.
Yes, go ahead. Sir Galiana, hello. Sir? Okay. All right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi,
Hello,
sir.
everyone.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Go ahead.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Give now your message, sir. Thank you.
Ay, patapos sa di ay. Ongoing po itong webinar naman sa PCAS. But anyway, okay, first I would like to thank everyone for your participation today. I know that you have so many activities also that is aside from this webinar that you have. And secondly, I would like to congratulate LC also for sponsoring this kind of activity, because we all know that this kind of activity is very important, not just for you teachers, but as well as to our learners. Now, we all know that one problem of the Department of Education is on the production of module that is aside from the reproduction, because really it is really difficult to come up with one. And I am so appreciative of MAPEH, the MAPEH group, for starting this one way back before COVID. And although we have this problem as to quality assurance, but for me, it is not so much of a problem, as what is important is that we only need communication between your group and the group of the LRMDS. But in a way, your activity today is focused more on the delivery of the modules, that's delivery of instruction, and at the same time, the canned material to your learners. And I know that all this will redound to the learning of our learners, because we all want them to learn more, despite this pandemic also. And that I know that you are polishing everything to make this material quality assured. And I know that with your expertise, with your qualification, with your skills and competencies, I know that all of you would be able to polish all this. So congratulations, everyone. And I hope that we still would be able to meet that is if the situation, because I am so eager to meet all of you MAPI teachers face to face. Good luck to everyone. I know that we still have more time to prepare ourselves for the opening extension, but we should not just rest on our laurels, as we all know that there's a need for us to evaluate everything. Now, actually, it is not just for MAPI, but in all subject areas, because we found out that there were corrections in the modules of some different uh, different subjects. So do not just rest, but instead go on evaluating, continue evaluating, because as we all know, there's no such thing as perfection. Although we are reaching that point to be perfect, but it would be difficult for us to be perfect also. And I appreciate what you are doing today, and I hope that you will continue doing what is best for the benefit of our children, this part of Region 11, the division of Davao City. So thank you so much.
Once again, Dr. Rinaldo Giliana, Schools Division Superintendent, Davao City. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. True enough, education must continue despite this health crisis, and our ADM-SLM will help supplement possible learning gaps of no actual face-to-face learning classes anchored on the principle of contextualization and integration of learning content. Once again, thank you very much, Sir Giliana. This event will not be successful without the following persons. They deserve our recognition for the close na. Yeah, close. Go ahead.
So thank you for the opportunity. Goodbye, everyone. Yeah, I think. God for this.
Stop singing, Apple.
Ace, this event will not be
Uy,
successful
live
without
mo,
the
live.
following persons. They deserve our recognition. For the Technical and Logistics Committee, we have Achilles Charles Gandeza. Thank you very much. And we have Ronnie Valles as well. For the Registration, Certificate, and Evaluation Committee, we have Blaise May Pardillo and Nancy Bosteleño. For Queries and Comments Committee, we have Apple May Tanyaga. Thank you very much. And also to Brian Cancho, thank you so much for initiating this event. And of course, our very own advisor, Elsie Gagabe, thank you so much. Before we end, let me say my final point. There is a dire need to establish a sound pedagogical practice for this module and technology to work for our students. In this time of online learning and digital education, academic integrity must be fostered and protected. This implies effective and efficient online infrastructure, effective and secure learning management system, and a sound pedagogical learning practice to roll these all into one effective teaching and learning process. The challenge now is on, and the answer to all of these lies in our hands. Let us not also forget that our presence is needed by our students more than ever in this time of pandemic. Our responsibilities to them do not end in remote learning. Our responsibilities now are doubled and even tripled. We are in a paradigm shift. We are in the new normal, and there is no more turning back. And I wish this have sunk into our minds that we have to go along with the current. The more we struggle to go against the current, the more we become stressed and burned out. Let us stop the clamor. Let us begin the action, for the new normal has demanded us with so much module development, module production and delivery, actual lesson preparation, feedbacking of students' performance, and these are not one-shot activities. These are iterative. With these challenges that we're facing, we may find joy and meaning in what we're doing. We may find fervor and strength to continue our passion to teach. We may not forget that teaching is both a passion and a profession. And this is about time to live more on this expectation. Let us carry on and hashtag Sulong Educalidad. This has been Rex Lim from Davao City National High School. Thank you very much for watching.